Welcome to the first class of Yoga 101. Before we get started, let me mention a few of the props I'd like you to have available at the beginning of each of our classes. The first and most important is a yoga mat. Now, yoga mat is different than any other exercise mat. So just any exercise mat won't do. A yoga mat really is crucial. And a yoga mat's a little thinner than a regular exercise mat, and it's stickier. It also usually is longer as well. Now, if you're not ready to invest in a yoga mat, I understand, then use a good surface that isn't sticky. You want to be able to stick your feet down so they don't slide out from underneath you when you do the standing poses. So a hardwood floor is good. Low pile carpeting can also work well. When you're ready to invest in a good mat. It is worth the money. The other props I'd like you to have around, you can be really creative with these. They don't have to be specifically yoga props. A yoga strap we will use periodically, and you can also use a belt. The belt from your robe is a good resource. A scarf can be used. I also want you to have some kind of block, and blocks are a little harder. A big book might work. They're a little harder to find something that would work. I do have a client who uses a shoebox, and most of the time the shoebox is the perfect tool. Sometimes you want to be able to sit on it, and then a shoebox isn't going to work. Finally, a firm cushion or blanket. And it needs to be firm, so a squishy blanket won't do. We want to be able to actually sit on it and have ourselves raised up a little bit. So sometimes I recommend a sheet beach blanket for people if they don't have one of these cotton Mexican blankets are also wonderful. A fleece blanket won't work because it's too squishy. Sometimes the cushions off of your couch can also be helpful. Eventually, you'll probably want to invest in a really nice yoga prop set because they do come in handy, as you're going to discover. Okay, before we get into our first asanas, let me also let you know that I want you to make sure that you are cleared for exercise. I'm not in front of you, so I can't help you with your specific physical issues. Make sure from your doctor that it's okay for you to go forward with the exercise. I will do the best I can to remind people, if you have knee problems, be careful of this pose. If you have shoulder problems, be careful of this pose. I will give you contraindications as we go along. But again, I'm not in front of you. You need to take responsibility for your own physical well-being throughout this whole series. So, are you ready to begin? In our first class, I often joke, this is the how to stand, sit down, and lie down class. And that's exactly where we're going to begin. In this first class, I want to teach you how to stand, how to sit, and how to lie down in a way that helps you get the most out of your pose. So if you are ready, let's begin. So learning how to stand in yoga. We're going to begin with the first of the standing poses in yoga, which is called Tadasana or mountain pose. All yoga poses have a Sanskrit and an English name. I love to use them both. The Sanskrit, it's rhythmical, it's poetic in your mouth, and it's really lovely to say. So I always share both. Most of my students don't know the Sanskrit. They just wait to see what pose I do if I'm just sharing the Sanskrit, and then they copy me. But this one is called Tadasana or mountain pose, and it brings up this picture of being strong like a mountain, being able to withstand the elements and still be strong. And that's the feeling we want in Tadasana. So you're going to begin with your feet hip width apart. And what I want you to notice is to align right over your hip bones. So finding your hip bones and letting your feet be right below that. What we're doing here is we're aligning the bones a little bit better, and we're aligning the energy lines. So a lot of lineages have their feet together in Tadasana, and that can feel good. I do find, though, that it becomes more of a balanced pose this way. And if we want to feel like a mountain, grounded like a mountain, open to the elements, then having the feet a little further apart will help us get that grounded feeling. The next thing you want to do is make sure your feet are parallel, or as parallel as you can make them without torquing at the knees. So if you naturally have your feet turned out, squaring off your feet will probably torque at your knees and make them feel funny. So what I want you to do is make your feet as parallel as you can make them without torquing at the knees. And be sure that they're doing the same thing. So if you have one foot that's naturally turned out, then get it as close to parallel as you can and then make sure the other foot matches. Okay, from there, you're going to balance your weight between the right and left foot. And here's something interesting about Tadasana. There is no balance between the right and left. I mean, ultimately, of course, there is. But I once heard from a physical therapist that the most balanced he had ever seen, they have this special equipment where people can stand on it and they know how much weight is in one foot versus the other. And he said the most balanced he had ever seen in all his years of physical therapy was a 40-60 split. So 40% of the weight was on one foot, 60 was on the other. So we aren't balanced between the right and left. So knowing that, take a moment to see if you can feel which foot has a little lighter and what you need to do to adjust. Now you're also going to balance excuse me, between the front and back of the feet. Same thing again. We have a tendency to either be in the front, really common for women who have been pregnant at some point in their life, or putting weight in the back, in the heels. So create balance between the front and back of the foot. And from there, you want to feel as if your feet are moving down through the floor as you engage and get really long through the body, lengthening through the body. Feel like you're trying to grow a little bit more. So you want to go on the roller coaster, and if you're just half an inch taller, you can. You know that feeling? Really lift. Allow your heart to open. And that is Tadasana. And this is how you stand when you're doing yoga. And one of the keys here is finding a balance between collapse, not doing anything, and prop, which makes you rigid in the pose, very military stance-like. Instead, I want halfway between. So you're really feeling that engagement all the way up and out through the top of the head, allowing your heart to open. You're not drawing the shoulders back. In fact, they're relaxed. We'll talk about posture in a later class and how to find really fabulous posture through yoga. But it doesn't come from drawing your arms back. When you do that, it just creates spasms between your shoulder blades, a lot of discomfort. So you just want to keep the shoulders relaxed and feel yourself lift from below. Good, and from here, let's do a few shoulder rolls. So first, you're going to take them forward. Move your whole arm. In fact, feel yourself move from the shoulder blades as well. Can you feel that? Bring them all the way around. This usually feels really yummy. And then change direction. Go the other way. Still breathing. And then release and relax. Doesn't that feel good? Ugh. Now take the back of your right hand and place it at the base of your spine, and you're going to draw that left shoulder back. And then take your left ear down to your left shoulder. Give yourself a nice long stretch up the right side of the neck. Keep breathing. Turn your head down at an angle. Keep drawing the right shoulder back. And then bring the head back up, release the arm, and do the other side. Draw the shoulder back, and then take the right ear down. Breathe. I will constantly remind you to come back to your breath. Make sure you're breathing. And turn your head down. And then bring your head back up and release. Doesn't that feel good? I call these moments yoga bliss moments. Okay, so that is standing up. Now we're going to take it to the ground and we're going to talk about sitting. There are a number of seated yoga poses. The one we're going to work on today is Sukhasana, or easy pose, easy cross-legged pose. Although I have to laugh because most of us in our culture don't find sitting like this very easy. So it isn't all that easy of an easy cross-legged pose. But the key to sitting comfortably is making sure you're on top of your sit bones. Your sit bones are the two bones at the very base of your pelvis that you can feel if you're sitting on something hard. You can actually palpate them and feel them too. We want to be right on top of those sit bones. When we roll off the back, or sometimes even off the front, it creates tension in the lower back and discomfort. But when we're on top, the spine can be aligned. We can create that lower back curve. The spine can be aligned and it makes the pose much more comfortable. What helps with this is a blanket. So you're going to grab a blanket, and I'll show you. When you sit up on the blanket, it helps alleviate a lot of that tension. Sometimes it takes more. Maybe you'll need to be up a little bit higher and get yourself higher. That is just fine. Find the height you need. And then the legs will be crossed. And the cross-legged position for Sukhasana is actually having your feet further away from the body. So the knees are hidden beneath the opposite, the feet are hidden beneath the opposite knees. So they're not tucked in. That's a different pose. We'll do that a different day. This one is further out. And this gives us a nice square base to work from. So see if you can find that position. Get up on top of the sit bones, and then you're going to lengthen again, like you're really getting long all the way up the spine because you want to ride that roller coaster. Breathe. If your knees are really high, stack yourself up a little bit higher. If you have knee issues where this causes discomfort, there are a couple of things you can do. One is to grab a towel roll, or if you do have a block, and prop the knee up. You can prop it as high as you need to. Now, if you need to do this for one knee, do it for both to keep your body balanced. We want to work with balance in yoga. If just sitting on the floor is really tricky for you, you can do this next series seated in a chair. It's just fine to put yourself in a chair for here. Okay? So bring your arms out to the side. Externally rotate, lengthen, bring your arms up and overhead, reach all the way through the fingertips. And then you're going to twist to your right. Take your left hand outside your right knee, right hand behind you. Feel long through your spine. Twists are heavenly. Enjoy this twist. Keep breathing as you hold. And then you're going to swing back through the middle, inhaling, arms come up. Exhaling, taking it over to the other side. Breathe and hold your twist. Come back through the middle, arms swing up and overhead again. Exhaling, let them come down. Doesn't that feel good? Yoga bliss moment. Change the cross of your legs. And again, you want your feet hidden beneath the opposite knees. It can feel remarkably awkward to do this other side. We do have a tendency to cross our legs the same way every time. So when we do the other side, it can feel a little weird, like you're in an off-handed position. But we do want to do it because it helps keep the body balanced. Finding the sit bones again, getting long through the body, feeling that engagement all the way up. You're going to bring the arms out to the side again, externally rotate them, get really broad across the heart, lengthen, and then bring the arms up and overhead. Feel the reach all the way through the body. Now this time you're going to take the right hand down by your side, place the palm down, fingers point away, reach up the left side and take it over. A nice stretch right up the left side of the body. Still breathing. feel as if your arm is attached to your waist. So you're reaching the arm from your waist. Come back up, swing both arms up. And then we'll go the other way, left hand down. Fingers point away, press that palm, the left palm, whole surface. Elbow drops in as you reach up and stretch over. Drop that elbow, drop the shoulder, breathe. Feel the stretch. Again, reaching the arm from the waist. I want this upper arm really straight, so it's not bending over, it's really straight. And the sit bone, the opposite, that right sit bone is grounded as you reach. And then come back up and bring the arm down. And just take a breath. Again, enjoying the moment. All right, so that is sitting. And this was called Sukhasana, or easy cross-legged position. And I like it because it has a very square, broad base, which allows us to do the twisting and side movements without feeling like we're going to tip over. So I do Sukhasana quite a bit. Finally, we're going to talk about lying down. Now, we end every yoga class in a pose that is called Shavasana, or relaxation pose. It's also translated as corpse pose and sponge pose. And it is the best part of yoga. It is actually the reason we do all the asanas, because once we've stretched the body, then we can really deeply, physiologically relax. Now, Shavasana isn't simply lying down. There is actually a way to lie down that helps put your body in the best position possible. So watch me this first time, and then I will talk you into going into Shavasana for yourself. So Shavasana is lying down, as I mentioned. You want to begin. You'll begin with the knees bent, holding behind the legs. Again, I'll walk you through it in a minute. Just watch for this round. And you're going to round yourself down, supporting yourself with your hands. So we want to make it back friendly. And then you're going to extend your legs, and you want them to be a little bit more than hip width, as long as that's comfortable for you. Letting the toes drop out to the side, that'll help release the hip. Now, as soon as you do this, check in with the body. Notice if the lower back is tight at all. And if it is, mine is, then you want to grab a blanket and you'll triple fold it. Let's see if you can see this. So I didn't roll it. I actually folded it in a third and then in another third. And I'm going to put it underneath my thighs, not my knees. The thing with the knees is you have arteries that run behind the knees, and if you put a roll underneath your knees, it can make your feet start to fall asleep, which doesn't feel good. So have it underneath the thighs if you need it. And you can make it bigger, and if you have lower back issues that make lying on your back really uncomfortable, just putting your feet up on a chair can make a big difference too. So that's also an option. Then you're going to take your arms out to the side at about a 45-degree angle. If the arms are too far out, they're too far away from your body and they'll get cold. If they are too close into the body, then you can't really relax your shoulder. You want it at about 45 degrees. You draw the shoulder under. Then you rest in the very middle of the back of your head and close your eyes. Now, to come out, which I will always talk you through, so don't worry about it. You get to totally relax. I promise to bring you out in time. To come out, you bend the knees, roll to your right side, and make a pillow with the bottom arm. And you just rest here for a moment. When you're ready, you push up with the top hand, let the head hang, and come all the way up. And then you'll come up to a seated position. Now there's method to my madness that allows you to sustain the calm and quiet that you originally created in Shavasana. If you jump up the way we often do, then you can lose a lot of the wonderful benefits of Shavasana. Okay, so you ready? Before you go into it, let me also add that you want to be sure you are warm enough. So now's the time to put on socks, sweatshirt, anything that you want for extra warmth. And then you're going to sit on your mat, knees bent, hold behind the thighs, round down, all the way down. And then experiment with the legs, extend each of the legs and notice how it feels. Let me also add that sometimes you don't feel the discomfort in the lower back until you've been lying here for a while. So you might need to, remember that for next time. Okay, I do need to have a roll because my back does get sore after a while. Feel free to add the roll underneath the thighs if you do get sore during Shavasana. Now, the feet are a little bit more than hip width apart, and you're going to drop the toes out to the side. Let the hips relax. Bring the arms out to your side at about 45 degrees. Turn the palms up and turn them from the shoulders so your shoulder blades will naturally walk down your back as you turn the palms up. And then rest in the middle of the back of your head. Now, if you are uncomfortable with your head, you feel like you need a lift, go ahead and put a lift underneath your head, but just enough to create comfort. I don't want it to be as big as your nighttime pillow. Just enough to create comfort. Now, once you are in Shavasana, you're going to take 3 deep breaths. Each time you exhale, allow your body to release and relax even more. Letting go, softening. Let your exhalations lead you more deeply into your relaxation. Allow your feet to relax, softening the soles of your feet into your toes. Allow your hands to relax, softening the palms of your hands into your fingertips. Soften the space between your shoulder blades. Relax your jaw. Soften your tongue. Just allow your tongue to rest gently behind your bottom teeth. Soften the skin on your forehead, feeling as if it is melting out toward your temples. Breathe. Allow your body to relax just a little bit more, softening even more. Enjoy your relaxation. Gently, calmly, and ever so peacefully begin to bring your awareness back. And you simply want to begin to deepen your breath. Coming out mindfully is essential to holding on to the calm that you found in Shavasana. And then you're going to move at your fingers and your toes. Bending your knees, roll over to your right side, make a pillow with your bottom arm. And just rest here for a moment. Find your breath. Bring the peace and calm of Shavasana with you. As you're ready, push yourself up with your top hand. Let your head be heavy and your eyes still closed. Head is the last to come up and eyes open after that. Bring your palms together in front of your heart. This is the Anjali Mudra. We do it a lot in yoga. I'm sure you've seen it. It is, a mudra is a way of placing the body, hands, but really the whole body, to enhance energy flow in a specific way. And this one enhances energy flow through your heart center. So it's really a lovely gesture to do when you are thanking someone. The term you frequently hear in yoga is namaste. And namaste translates as, the light in you greets the light in me. We are one. And what I love about it is it's incredibly respectful, soul-to-soul greeting. So teachers say it to students, students tell it to teachers. So there's respect going both ways. It has a myriad of meanings, a little bit like aloha. It means thank you, hello, goodbye. And it's, again, it's soul-to-soul, so it's lovely. So what I always do at the end of my classes, and I invite you to join me, is you'll inhale, bring your arms up and overhead, palms come together over your head, bring your hands down, rest them at your forehead, set an intention for compassionate thoughts. So you're literally saying to yourself, I intend to have compassionate thoughts. And then you'll bring your hands down to your mouth, set an intention for compassionate words. I intend to have compassionate words. And then bring your hands down to your heart. And as you bow your head to your heart, set an intention to be compassionate with yourself. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it as well. And I look forward to seeing you in class number 2.